Hey guys, welcome back to Boy73, the Small Engine Doctor, and welcome back to another episode of Small Engines Questions and Answers. And today is video number 87. And what I started doing is putting a number right on the thumbnail of the video for the Q&A so that it's easier for you guys to see which number of the Q&A you're watching. Sometimes on the side you see other thumbnails of videos, and sometimes you can't read the whole title. So that's why I put the number right on the thumbnail. Hopefully it's going to help you guys. I also want to start putting in all the questions written down underneath the information for the video. Some YouTubers have said that way it's going to be easier to find it even on Google if they do a search. And it's going to be easier if you're looking for something specific through all my Q&A videos. You're not going to have to watch them all. You can just click on the video, read the information underneath it to see what's in the video for that week. And I also want to send a special thanks to Kevin from Texas. He sent me this nice AMSOIL hat. He's an AMSOIL distributor, I believe. And he also sent me this AMSOIL sticker, which is on my cupboard over here. I know that AMSOIL is really good oil. I know that some people use it in their brand new sleds and they swear by it. I know if I had a brand new sled, that's what I'd be putting in my machine for sure. And if you want to get a hold of Kevin, here's the name of his channel. You can contact him through YouTube if you're interested in AMSOIL. The next step I'm going to share with you guys is a burnt belt like this. Have you ever had a belt like this on your snowblower? Well, I've had some people ask me, why is the belt burnt like this on my snowblower? Here's a close look at exactly what I mean. It's burnt in one spot. The whole rest of the belt is still good. Now, obviously, some people know why this happened and some don't. This happened because the impeller on the snowblower was frozen and the person kept the auger lever down. And I'll just use this motor here as an example to show you what's happened. The auger belt usually goes in this pulley here. What happened is that the impeller on the snowblower was frozen. And when I say the impeller was frozen on the snowblower, I'm talking about this part over here. It was frozen with ice. What happened is the guy used the blower. There was a lot of snow. It melted in there. Then it got cold outside and it just froze there. So obviously when he put the auger lever down, it wasn't able to turn the impeller. And because he held the auger lever down, the motor was spinning, but the belt was not spinning with it. So it just basically chewed a hole right through the belt and smoked like crazy. So that's how you get a belt burned out like this. Remember, if you smell any hint of smoke, stop right away what you're doing. And always check to make sure that the impeller is not frozen. And always remember, to be safe, do not stick your hand in there without first removing the spark plug cap on your snowblower engine. And for those of you who don't know where that is, it's right here. It's the cap right on top, so you would just remove it in case it ever wanted to start up when you turn the impeller. Do what you got to do and then put it back on. Not only will you prevent further damage to your belt if you stop right away when you smell smoke, but you're also going to save yourself a lot of money because these belts can cost anywhere between $20 to $30 or more. The next question I'm going to answer today is a video that Old64 Goat sent me. That's his YouTube name. He's got a brand new MTD snowblower, and when he was turning the impeller, he could hear a squeak. And he oiled it with WD-40 and other lubricants, I think, and it still squealed. He was wondering what the problem was. He sent me the video link. I looked at it and explained to him what it was. So I thought it'd be a good topic to share with you guys today. I'm also going to put the link to the video that Old64 Goat sent me if it's still available there. Then you guys can go watch the video to see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm still going to show it to you in this video, but you're also going to hear the squeak in his video as well. So what he had emailed me about was a squeak when he turned this part here, the impeller. And again, I've disconnected the spark plug cap before I turn it. And you can hear a little bit of a squeal there. And that was the noise he was wondering about. Well, that's perfectly normal to hear that sound. What causes that noise is there's a brake that when you release the auger lever, it rubs against the auger belt pulley. So it kind of puts the brakes on the auger pulley to stop it quickly. And again, it's a safety feature so that by stopping it quickly, the augers will stop turning right away. I'm just going to show you quickly here just an idea of what that may look like. Basically, it's just something that will rub on the auger pulley like this. Some may even have a small brake pad on it to make it work even better. So basically what you're hearing is the pulley rubbing on the brake. Even though it was normal to hear that noise in this case, Make sure to always investigate any noises that you hear on your snowblower. Another question I often get is, where's the fuel filter on the chainsaw? The fuel filter is always in the fuel tank on the chainsaw. You have to open it up. Then you need a wire bent like this, and you go inside and retrieve the fuel line, and the filter will be right at the end. And there you go. I've actually just posted a video recently on how to replace the fuel filter on the chainsaw. I'm going to post a link to that video below this one so that you can actually go watch as to how it's done. Another good question I got from a YouTuber the other day is he asked me, do the valves on an engine unadjust themselves over time, or does it just happen overnight? Well, the answer to that is that it happens over time. What happens is everything gets worn, stuff gets loose, and then the gap between the valves and the lifters is not the same anymore. So it's something that's going to gradually happen over the years. Some equipment that I've seen, even after 10 hours, the valves needed to be adjusted. I often see that on Chinese-made generators that are clones of Hondas. Also, my lawn tractor has an overhead valve V-twin engine from Briggs. The valves on that need to be adjusted almost every summer. So it doesn't mean it's a bad engine if you have to adjust the valves. You just have to be aware of that because you can have a lot of problems and you may spend a lot of money on other parts that have nothing to do with what's wrong with the tractor or your engine. For example, the symptoms on my Briggs Intech V-twin may imitate having a bad ignition module on one side. It was like running on one cylinder at the time and backfiring. But as soon as I adjusted the valves, the problem was gone. And then the following summer, I had to do it again. Sometimes you may need to do it a few times, but after a while, once everything's worn in and broken in properly, you may not need to do it as often. But it's a good idea to check the valve clearance on your engines every year. And here's a Chinese-made generator that I had to adjust the valves on. I hardly ever have to adjust them on Tecumseh engines like that with a flathead. There's a lot more work involved adjusting the valves on a flathead Tecumseh than an overhead valve engine. Like I said, it's not something you have to do often, but remember this tip, that if you have a Chinese-made generator with an overhead valve engine, even if you've ran it for less than 10 hours and you have major problems, always check the clearance on the valves. Usually I'll set the clearance between 3 to 5 thousandths of an inch on each valve on those Chinese-made generators. They've always worked good at that setting, so that's how I do it now. So that'll be it for this week's Q&A. I want to thank Kevin for the nice hat. I also want to send a special thanks to Roger and Steve for their gifts as well, and all the other YouTubers who have sent me gifts in the last week or two. I really appreciate it. Sorry if I didn't mention your names. I don't know if you guys want that or not, but again, every amount is appreciated. So hopefully you guys will have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.